I just finished the second painting of my 2026 art collection, and I am so excited to show you the behind the scenes process of how I made it. This one is moody, dramatic. The hands are glowing. Are you ready for it?
Welcome to my channel.
I have my Generations piece already drawn out on my panel board, and I brought in my mock-up just so you can see maybe some of the differences of what I'm going to do. So obvious one first is size, and this one's done on paper, therefore it is framed behind some glass. For this piece, I plan to do a blue to green gradient of the hands rather than this like pink yellow going on. And then instead of doing this like water, I decided to have the hands actually melt into one another. So the gradient will be in the drips. So I think that's going to be really cool. The background's going to stay similar. Instead of it being so abstracted with like this dark leaves and pattern, I think I'll actually have some more recognizable foliage here, some jungle theme going. I want the hands to feel more connected to nature, and I want them to feel almost like a Genesis moment. It's also a representation more than anything of just like how I think about generations pouring into one another and how we each carry each other in our lifespan. I need to do some color studies just so I can get the tones of my hands correctly. But first, I'll just let you see what colors I'm probably going to be playing with. These are my main blues, yellows, and greens that I like. Nothing too fancy, some pretty much standard stuff. And I'm going to start with more of a true blue here. Definitely turquoise into green. And I want this to be not a deep green, but more of a lighter green. So I'm going to keep the colors feeling like they're glowing, keep them pretty light. And that way it's a really great contrast to a dark, moody background. I might not even be able to get this open. Oh, yes. I've had this thing for over 10 years. Crazy. Okay, last but not least, I got my scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to kind of figure out what colors I want. That didn't take too long. So we're going with this color, and then this color as my main tones. I think there'll be a nice gradient. And then of course, for shadows and things, we'll have these tones in there. Some of these. This is a bit too vibrant of a green. Kind of want my green to be cooler. So yeah, I think that'll be good. This one's way too bright. I don't like that one. Perfect. And this is why I don't like plastic, because it stains. So annoying. This is looking great. I still have some detailing, some shadows to do. I'm the most satisfied with this hand. I think I just really nailed it with the watermarks. That's like the most challenging part of doing it on panel board is that detailing is difficult because I'm not like seeping into the cracks of the paper. I am just putting a blob of watery color on there and then hoping basically it'll just stay the shape that it goes in there. It's kind of difficult to explain. So when you put color and water on a watercolor paper, it's basically like seeping into the fibers and you're able to get more clarity. Like the detail is able to be finer because the water's just. And then with the clay board, I do the same brush, same technique, right? But then instead of it seeping into anything, it lays flat. Also spreads, not all the time, but has the possibility of spreading. So those finer details that are more like realism, like hairbrush stroke style, just don't translate as well. So I'm finding that if I go back through, here, I'll show you. So I'm finding that if I go back through and like, let's use this line as an example, it was pretty thick. And then I came through and I brushed on either side and I got a even thinner line that kind of even hazed it out. So it looked a little bit more realistic. And I'm finding that with panel board, if I basically am sculpting with water. It's weird. I don't know how else to explain it because I'm like pushing water and color around and getting my shape. It's like I'm trying to just reveal something. Rather than on paper, I'm just layering and layering to form something. With here, since I can constantly lift up the color again, it's almost like using clay, or I can just keep shaping it. Part of me wonders if I should just get a thinner brush. I have my background drawn and I'm just going to do a dark gray kind of mix. It's going to be pretty dramatic, but all monotone. And I'm just going to allow that to sink into the background. Not very high contrast. Allow these hands to glow and to push forward a lot. And of course, all these blank spaces are the philodendron. And I'm going to have some really cool textures going on that. It is another day in painting paradise, and I thought I would tell you the colors that I'm using. I'm using a Joseph Sequel gray for the majority of the foliage, and then I'm using a Payne's gray for the background. The reason why I'm using these two colors is this one has a beautiful granulation as you keep going. It's kind of like a violet and magenta, like blue. That's kind of creating some dual tones in here. That's really nice. And then this Payne's gray doesn't have any granulation. So it is dark and will just continue to get dark. No matter how much water I add to it, it just continues to stay its consistent color. I am trying to get this background as dark as possible to allow these hands to pop. I'm not able to get as much fine detail as I was anticipating with these hands. And I think it's mainly because of just like the color, and I'm still new to using panel board. So I'm having my own little hurdles with that. but I'm not going to try to overwork it or ruin anything. So I might just leave certain things as is, but I have a lot of work to do on the background. But this has been really fun, and I do like kind of this dreamy, watery look to it. So I'm not like against how this is turning out. It's just different than what I'm used to, and therefore the results are varied. Okay, this is looking really nice and dark. I have a few things left. I'm going to darken a few more areas, and then I'm going to darken everything in the middle and spread it out. So you have more of kind of like a tunnel coming in. So there's more focus in the middle. And I'm going to probably create some shadows for the hands, depending on how dark it gets in the middle, and clean up a few areas to make them look a little less splotchy. Do so a little bit more detailing on the hands. This blue one I'm not very satisfied with, but I'm going to try to clean it up. I got to do the water a little bit more, clean up some of the edges here. But yeah, this is looking really good. So really I'm just kind of fine tuning everything now. All right, for now, I am done. How exciting. I obviously could just keep nitpicking this and trying to bring out some shapes, which, I might as this sits and I think about it. I tend to do that with my pieces. I'll be done and then I'll just like take a moment, look it over, and let my eye refresh to it so I can just continue to develop it. You can kind of see my inspiration from my other painting, and I've recycled some of those philodendrons and ferns in this. This was so fun to make, and thank you so much for sticking around to watch how I made this painting. I obviously have some last minute details that I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to let it sit so I can move on to the third painting of my art series, which there's going to be a total of about 6, I believe. So this one, we're calling it done, and we're moving up in size. So the next one is going to be equally dramatic, and let me give you a sneak preview of what that one's going to look like. I just prepped this panel board, and this is kind of the idea of what it's going to look like. I got this tracing paper with my hands on top, and soon I will transfer these and begin to paint. That's going to be next video. And here is the direct inspiration that I'm going to be kind of mimicking this style into my overthinking painting. Okay, friends, until next time, third painting coming your way. Subscribe so you can keep up, and I can't wait to hear more about your own creative processes, and thank you for following along with mine. Yeah, these do look pretty nice together.
Thank you for watching.